Mabuhay! Kamusta? My name is Dinah and welcome to Positively Pinoy's podcast. In this podcast, I will share inspiring stories and lessons from my Filipino friends around the world and back home. I will talk to Filipino overseas workers who are making a difference in their own ways and Filipinos back home who are excelling in their fields that we can all learn from. So tara na, magchikahan tayo! This is the second part and the continuation of my conversation with my Filipino nurse friends, Kenneth in the UK and Marissa in the US. We talked more about being OFWs and what we have learned from living abroad as Filipinos. They also gave their advice on how to deal with this pandemic by staying at home.
Okay, so, we're all in lockdown right now. Almost everyone in the world is in lockdown, but almost everyone as well are complaining and almost, driving themselves nuts, which is acceptable because we are very sociable human beings. We love going out, we love meeting our friends, our families, and just being sociable and all that. But as frontliners, as nurses, why is it very, very important for us to stay at home right now?
I think because obviously as it's viral, it's very easy to contract from other people. So obviously, the moment people stay at home, there will be a stop of spread. And I think the whole end point of this is that obviously, when all people at the same time get sick, I don't think we have the capacity for that, and then everything will just fall into pieces. So that's
right.
why we should just stay at home. And I know it's quite hard to cope because I myself is staying at home. I mean, we all have to anyway. But I think this is the only way to slow down the spread at the very least. And
That's right.
Because this can't go forever, but we just have to bear with it.
Why? Yes.
Why is it important?
Especially now in the US, everyone, not everyone, but then I've seen a lot of protests about
yes.
the lockdown, and they're out and about, not socially distancing, which is driving us nuts here in Europe. What the hell are you doing out there?
So, the first time I saw the protest, there was a how do you call it? Placard ba yun? It says, I need a haircut. I'm like, seriously? This is a
Really?
first world country problem. Yung mga
Priorities,
spoiled people.
really?
Priorities. So it's very important. First of all, not everybody can be healthcare workers or frontliners, right?
Yeah.
So the least that you can do is just to stay at home and don't be stupid. You just have to be considerate. You have to be considerate towards other people, the level of respect towards other people. You're not only protecting yourself, but you're also protecting others. So that's why it's very important. We have to slow down yung surge ng mga pasyente that gets the virus. Just enough now we can figure out what's going on, or maybe probably
until we get a vaccine.
Just until, it's not going to be forever, because the more you go out and about, the longer this is going to be.
Yeah, because it just keeps on infecting people,
Yeah, you just have to bear with it. We have internet, we have Netflix, you can learn how to cook, you can learn how to play the piano.
I was telling this to another friend, can you imagine if this happened in the 90s where there's no technology yet?
Oh my God.
What would have happened to us? I mean, now everything is available online. If you're bored, you watch.
Right. You binge watch.
You just binge watch. Come on, I'm doing my Korean drama right now. And it's just come on, just effing do something with your time.
Do something. Yes. Be productive.
Be very productive. There's a lot of things that you can be productive about because it's all available online. So just imagine if you don't have the internet during this kind of pandemic. We would be crazy. But because we were given all these other apps and technology, so to speak, so let's make use of that. God.
And then also if some people have family and kids, Like this is the
Mhm.
perfect time to just slow down
Catch
and
up.
spend more time with your kids.
Yeah.
Catch up with your
Mhm.
kids. I would love to stay at home
Yeah.
and work at home so I can be with my children. But
I was gonna
unfortunately,
say that
diba?
because okay, so in my head, okay, obviously we're fortunate enough to keep our jobs, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I know not a lot of people was able to retain their jobs during this time, and probably most of them are also not sure if they still have a job after this. If we will just look at it without, the statistics, people
Mm.
dying, or like, how
Mm-hmm.
lucky it is that, okay, like,
We're
yes,
alive.
we're, I mean, okay, you guys still go to work, but for me it's like, okay, I'm here in the comforts of my
In your
house. I
house.
do my job virtually, and like if
See?
I'm not, focusing on the numbers, on the statistics, it's a good life for me. Like, I'm
Yeah,
sorry
it's very
to say that, but
mellow.
I like it because my class starts at 10 o'clock, so I can still, like, wake up like 8, so I still
Mm-hmm.
have
Mm-hmm.
plenty of time, and then like I can wear whatever I want
That's
without
right. That's right.
them like, okay, what are you wearing now, or like, no, like, so it's like, for me it's like, it's a good way, and
Yeah,
because
true.
I can keep my job and being paid with all of this, going on. But I know, I mean, again, not a lot of people have, the
The
life that I
leverage.
have, but okay, but again, it's, if I just see the good side of it, like, okay, I'm good,
Yeah. Yeah.
thankful,
I mean,
Yes.
it could
hashtag
always be
blessed.
worse,
Yeah.
It could
Yeah.
always be worse. We could all be
Oh
dead, and
god.
that's the worst thing that could happen, I
Yeah.
think.
Have you watched Contagion? Have you watched the movie
No.
Contagion?
I don't like those things because it makes me anxious.
It's almost exactly the same as what's going on right now, what's happening,
Really.
and the origin of the virus was from bats as well. So
Oh,
it was
yeah, I
like,
think I've heard of that.
I
Yeah.
think
oh
I've seen it.
yes,
I've seen it, but I just
it's
forgot.
with Gwyneth Paltrow, Mark
Oh no, no, then
Wahlberg.
that's not the one. That's not the one that I watched.
It's
I'm probably gonna
it's
watch it.
crazy. But the only difference in Contagion is that it's a deadly virus. Like, once you get it, you're dead.
Yeah, that's it. It's kind of
And
like
that's it. Like, dead
the
end.
That's
Yeah.
more
it. That's
brutal.
it.
So yeah. So I was just like saying that, like, if the virus is deadlier now, we will not see anybody out in the street. Like, we're probably screwed. But at least, this virus is still like okay to deal with, that we still can go to
Yeah.
groceries, people are still serving
True.
us and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
okay, so what have you learned as Filipino nurse abroad that our Filipino nurses in the Philippines can learn from? Obviously, as we said earlier, it's a first world country, and then
Yeah.
comparing to the
Mm-hmm.
Philippines, the third world country, which we don't provide enough PPEs or mask or any protective things for our frontliners, our doctors, and
Mm-hmm.
if you're also following news back home, there's a lot of medical people who have already unfortunately died from this. So what do you think we can all learn from, or take away as Filipino
Gosh.
nurses?
I think because I did not really work, like I don't have a background on how
Mm-hmm. Oh
your
yeah, that's true.
hospital works in the Philippines. But then I saw this one article about the doctor who died because he worked straight 48 hours or something without going
Mm-hmm.
home or whatever. So the thing is here, okay, this is what my manager said. I don't want to exhaust my nurses, so they try to rotate us because we have a COVID friendly unit and the non-COVID one. So what he would do is he would send, let's say, 10 batches of nurses to do the COVID friendly, and the 10 would go to the non-COVID one. So he kind of
Mm-hmm.
rotated para hindi
Mm-hmm.
we don't get tired. So I think that's the only thing that I could say. Like, try to rotate people so they won't get exhausted, I think.
Can it, because you have years of
Mhm.
experience. Well, you worked in a private
Yeah. I
hospital
worked,
back in the
yeah,
Philippines,
2 years.
so
Oh,
I
St.
think
Luke's. Di ba?
Yeah.
no,
Bongga.
it was quite good. I had a good time in there. I think one thing is probably I know it may have a lot of repercussions, but I think we really need to have that culture of actually letting people say no, because
Mhm.
we know ourselves more than anyone else, and then we know when we're tired, and we just can't say no because he's a friend, she is a manager and she gave me this leave or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've experienced that myself because sometimes you're just shy to say no, and I
Yeah.
think that's a bad thing because it might cost your life in the end. Because obviously, when people are faced with decisions that are quite hard to make, sometimes that you have to staff this ward, you have to make this case happen. They will need to ask people to stay and do it, and when you're in that position sometimes wherein someone who is kind of close to you asks you a favor, it's difficult to say no. So I think that's wherein you saying no could step in. And I know it might cost you your job actually, but I think that's better as compared to actually just
Mhm.
being, I don't know, not in this world anymore and not having time for your family anymore. Because I think that's the worst thing that would happen if you just keep on saying yes and yes and yes. And trust me, I mean, we all tend to be abusive to people who always say
Yeah.
yes rather.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, because back home, and I know again, it might not be really applicable, and again, it's quite punitive in a way that it could cost you your job. But I think at some point we have to say no, and then we just
I
have to
get
have
you.
that culture.
I
Just
totally
learn
understand
your
you.
limits.
I
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally
Yeah, yeah,
understand you on
because
that level
exactly, we have our
because
own limits.
yeah.
Yeah, true.
Because for
Boundaries.
some reason, when I think part of our culture as well, we are taught to kind of like, yes, as you said a while ago, Miss, and as you said, Maria said that it's like it's a pleasing culture,
Yeah,
Mhm.
people
and it's not
pleaser.
good.
We are.
It's
Yeah.
not good because you tend to forget about yourself and people around
Yeah.
you that matter to you, because you could just drop sometimes things off just because you wanted to say yes and
Mhm.
please someone. It's not good.
That
True.
that's a very interesting thought because like all over the world, Filipino workers are considered to be, like among the best because
Mhm.
that goes down to like our selflessness,
Mhm.
Yeah,
like because again, we're very people pleasers, but
yeah,
I think we need to draw a line already on that
exactly.
thing
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
because it's not
we are being
Mrs.
abused already.
That's
It's
it.
too
Yeah,
much.
I think
Mhm.
that's wherein it's
Yes.
not right anymore, because pleasing
Mm-hmm.
is not necessarily a bad thing. But then again, you just have to draw the line, and obviously,
Mm-hmm.
you have to prioritize sometimes. That actually, I don't think this is right. I have to
Yeah.
say no, because sometimes, trust me,
Yeah.
I'm
It
guilty of that. Because probably it's with me. I was
We're
like,
all guilty. We're
Yeah.
all guilty. I
Yeah.
get you
Yeah.
because
yeah,
I think it all also boils down because like we now are exposed, I mean, us individually now, we have been exposed to different cultures, to different
Mhm.
people, and so we learn that oh, they can actually say no and it's not actually
Yeah.
bad.
yeah,
And they're not
It's
shy about
it's
it.
yeah,
yeah.
and it's
Because
actually
actually,
kind of
you're looking after
healthy.
yourself. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
looking after
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's
yourself.
actually kind of healthy. That by saying no, it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. Saying no
Mhm.
means you know your limit. You know
Mhm.
that it's not healthy for you and it's not good for you. And yeah, as you said, it might even cost your life, especially in this kind of
Mm.
situation. So I think yeah, that's a very, very good takeaway I'm taking from you because like it just needs to be said. I think the very reason also why I'm putting up the podcast is that I want you to understand, listeners, hello, as if I have
Of course, you
many,
have.
that we actually change for the better, like as OFWs, as much as what the, how do I say, stereotypical meaning of being an OFW, it has
Yeah.
changed
Mhm.
for many of us. Me
Mm.
That's
personally,
true.
it has changed. I told you, Kenneth, in our many discussions
Yeah.
before that I actually don't tend to have a lot of Filipino friends anymore. Like for me, I mean, I choose my friends carefully now, especially with Filipinos.
Like I've
Yeah.
been living here for 1 year now in France, and I have no Filipino friend. So it's and I also named it as Positively Pinoy because I feel like we need to have inspiring lessons that are also not just a very, I mean, I know there are a lot of typical OFW stories out there, so to speak.
Mhm.
And I know they're all inspiring and we can all learn from them. But at the same time, there are others that are just making themselves better. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
we don't
Yeah.
True.
need to be put in a box that all Filipinos are like this. I mean, we're all good in our own way. So I
Mm-hmm.
just needed to put it out that once we started living abroad, we actually saw something, and whatever that was is something that made us a lot better, not just a Filipino, but as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe whenever we go home, it tends to be,
Off.
I'm sure you can all relate to this, that it tends to be like taken as, ooh, mayabang.
Offensive. Yeah.
You know,
That's
like
quite
you're
funny.
starting to be, oh,
Yeah.
but no, oh God, it drives me nuts. But at the same time, I'm also happy that a lot of you are also feeling the same way. That, it's
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
not just, again, it's good to please people, but we need to draw a line. Really,
Mm-hmm.
it has to
Yeah.
be somewhere like the yes and no is black and white. Thank you
Oh
very
my God.
much.
Now you're making me scared to go home because I haven't been in the Philippines for 14 years. I don't know what's gonna happen.
No.
No,
14
but
years.
No.
for me, I mean,
Gosh.
I guess because I'm lucky as well with our friends, with our group
Mm-hmm.
of friends,
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of us are also OFWs, like
Yeah,
with
so
my high
we
school
relate.
friends. So we can relate in a way. And at the same time, if I'm always like, magahod, and also, so
Mm-hmm.
that is still me, that is still
Yeah.
me, I
For
think
sure.
that part of me did not change. It's just that my open-mindedness is way,
That's
way,
one
way,
thing.
way
Being open.
different.
Yeah.
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 Like, okay, more ang chismis and all, di ba? Pero I know how to draw a line now of like not judging people. Does that make sense?
Because of
Yeah,
their
yeah,
life
true.
choices. Yeah.
You know?
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I totally get you. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
It's
Mm-hmm.
like yeah.
oh my God.
You're just more open to other people's
Mm-hmm.
like but sometimes I'm like okay, whatever, it's your life.
Thank you for bringing that up, because yeah, I know we will get flakes from that, like, oh, the mga sihambog ka mo, the mga
I don't
sisinungaling ka
care.
Oh,
mo, tungod
no.
nga
I don't
nag-abroad ka
care.
ka mo.
Yeah,
But that's what they don't get. Like,
they don't
again, we
understand.
don't
They don't understand.
we don't have the context of what life is abroad until we really lived it, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Because
Mm-hmm.
we I mean, for us, I don't know about you, but for me, the stereotypical of a Filipino person abroad is like, again, lots of money, and then like,
That's what they
you know
think.
y- you
You know what?
are living in
When they
this
tell me, Miss,
beds
that I
of
have lots.
roses.
Exactly.
Yeah,
When they
that's
tell
true.
me that I have loads of money, I just tell them, well, I didn't really have to move abroad if I had loads of money.
I know,
And then
right?
I would be back home, you know.
it's like they
Come
don't
on.
get it that you have money because you work
Exactly.
for it. You don't just
Yeah.
come here and you're like, give me money. No, you work hard for it.
And then
And at
You
the
you
same
you
you know
time,
earn
you
our
pounds, you
produce.
cost of
spend
living.
pounds.
Come
Yeah,
on,
you
our
earn
cost
pounds, you
of
Correct.
spend
living.
pounds.
Yes. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God.
Gosh. Yeah, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Anyway, but
Can I just say this? Like somebody tried to utang through
uh-huh.
Messenger, and I said no. And she's like, "Well,
Mhm.
I see you have a lot of money because you're traveling everywhere." The
It's none of your
nerve,
business,
It's as
really.
if they're entitled, right? Oh my God, I have a lot of
right?
that. Kaloka.
And I'm like,
All of a
I'm
sudden, we're
sorry,
close friends, we're close
diba?
relative. Oh my
And I'm like, I'm
God.
sorry, am I supposed to be working so I can lend you money? Like, I don't have the bank
Yeah,
just for you, you know? I have the right to enjoy my life. Hello,
true.
listeners.
Hello. Yes. Hello. That's true. We get that, right? Among our friends, among our family, we get that a lot.
Yes, a
Mm.
lot, a lot. Scene
Okay,
mode.
so fine. Yes, final question, and then we can chica after this. Okay.
Mhm.
So after all, like again, we don't know until when this is gonna be. Like a lot of people are saying, or experts are saying, this is gonna be for a long while,
For
probably
a long.
6 to 1 year.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, I heard.
and and even if we will start going out, or when the lockdowns and the quarantines are gonna be lifted, I don't think we're gonna be really back to normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's never gonna be
I mean,
normal.
life is going to be different. But on your end, on your personal point of view, what do you think is hashtag quote unquote new normal for after all of this?
New
Marisa,
normal. You
having
said.
kids, like in your case, you have
Okay.
kids as well. So how is it for you? What do you
Okay, so
think?
I think after this, I don't think we're ever gonna go out without a mask. It's gonna be like Japan, like everybody wears masks, and you always
In
respect your
China,
distance.
it's
In
in
China,
China,
the it's
when I
normal.
used to live in China, I wear a mask
Mhm.
already.
And then
Mm-hmm.
people will start respecting spaces, yung distance, social distancing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I'm looking forward to, that everybody will be aware of that. I think that's going to be the new normal. And I always carry alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
So I have more stuff in my purse now than before. And then
Yeah.
now we're with my kids, I'm starting to implement na no more shoes inside the house. Like Koreans, they don't have shoes inside
Mm-hmm.
the house. So
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and then so that's something that we're doing right now. And then they don't usually go towards me right. I say what happened before is right after work, when I come home from work, they're like, "Oh, mommy's home, kissy kissy, huggy huggy," right? Even with my scrubs.
Mm-hmm.
But now they don't go to me anymore. I would call them. Oh guys, I'm in the garage. Go to your room. So that's what we do. And I go straight to the
Mm-hmm.
restroom. And my oldest son and my second son, they would actually prepare my clothes for me and put it in the
Oh,
bathroom. So that's
oh,
something that I'm kind of, oh, okay, this
yeah.
is nice. It has more sense of responsibility for them. And they're more
It's
aware.
nice, but at the same time, kind of indifferent in a way, no? Like it's,
Indifferent because we
yeah.
don't really do
Mm-hmm.
that. So but now it's
Mm-hmm.
more like, okay, they're more aware, and they're like, they're like, oh mommy, I need to wash my hands, because before I would still get mad, don't touch the
Mm-hmm.
food, wash your hands, ulit ulit. But
Mm-hmm.
now they're like, oh, let me
So
wash my
now
hands
they're
first.
more. So now they're more being mindful with their hands.
They're mindful with their hands. And even before COVID, I would always have a sanitizer just
Mm-hmm.
in the living room. I said every time you pass by, just make it a habit. Now you do sanitizer.
Mm-hmm.
Before they don't mind. Now they're more
Mm-hmm.
mindful. Oh, sanitizer,
Mm-hmm.
sanitizer. So
That's
it's
good.
getting better. Hmm.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm so scared, because here in France the lockdown will be lifted on May 11th, which
Oh yeah, I've heard.
means
Yeah.
also that we're going back
Hmm.
to work, we're going back to school. Actually,
Hmm.
because my school is a private school, so they're asking parents if they want to send their kids back to school, or if they want to continue the online distance
Homeschooling.
learning that we're doing for now. So we will eventually know the result from this survey this week. But if we do go back to school, it's actually worrisome for me, because
Oh
like
Yeah.
yeah.
my students are 6 to 12 years old. So like you're Maddie, you're the
Yeah, yeah.
youngest, like,
I
and
have 8 and 11.
they're still not, my students are, like they would put some things on their mouth, like their
Oh
pencils,
yes.
Yes,
the
of
tip of their
course. Uh-huh, of
pencils,
course.
because
Hmm.
like even as adults we tend to do that sometimes, that we forget, so like they're not going to be good with social distancing, they're not going to be good about, like not washing their
Hand
hands,
washing.
and then
Uh-huh.
like just putting things on their mouth. So it's kind
That's
of
right.
like, my God, that's gonna be wild. Like, what are we gonna do? And then the
It's
the
gonna be
the
hard.
classroom
It's gonna be hard.
classroom is actually small, and we have,
Mhm.
well, we have 20 kids in the class, but still like it's a huge number compared to like if we really have to practice social distancing.
Social
And so
distancing, yeah.
it's not a huge pace to begin with if we are going to practice social distancing for 20 kids. So that's really worrisome. But yeah,
But
I
then
don't know
so they
what's
said
gonna happen.
they're gonna do it May 11th. It's final.
That's
Now they're
that's
gonna.
what they're gonna say. But
Oh,
again,
okay.
like they will
We're
they
still
will take
waiting.
it when, yeah, we're still waiting, but I don't know. What about you, Ken?
Um,
What's normal for
I
you? And
believe
as a
that those.
traveler as well, like
Oh my
what's
God,
gonna
that's
be like
hard.
for you?
As
Yeah.
I think
Mhm.
those measures could stay in place for a little while, but I don't think they're going to be permanent. So more of like
Mm-hmm.
these measures is, I still believe it's temporary, and people will forget about them. I mean, I'm quite confident in that. But I think one of the most important thing I think that we could get from all these things would be time on how we actually value and manage it, because
Yeah.
True.
it really
True.
forced us to be in our houses, in our homes, and that made us spend time with our family that we kind of, I suppose, if you have it every day, you tend to just, how do you call that, take it for granted, because you would always think
Mm-hmm.
that it's in there. But actually, this one has made you appreciate that actually, there are a lot of people around you that you can spend time, especially if you've got family and all that, that you're not together.
True.
So I think
Yeah.
that's the other thing. And you could still be productive on this. I mean, you can be productive if you want to.
Yes.
I think
Mm-hmm.
that's
If you
that's
want to, if you're
no
good in
matter what.
managing
Yeah,
your
yeah.
time,
So I think
if
that's
you're,
one of the most important things, and that I think is not
mm-hmm.
temporary. You could really take that with you
Mm-hmm.
as something that you learn from all of it. I know it
Yeah.
sounds so philosophical, but it's kind of, I think
Yeah.
it's.
We get you though. We get you. Yes.
Hmm.
It just really takes a lot of discipline as well.
And
Yeah.
practice.
Practice, yeah. But then like
And
come
let
on,
me,
we're already one
yeah,
month, so you need to have already kind of find a habit of
yeah,
doing
yeah.
this. Okay, yes.
True. And you know what? I found out we're able to save more money because we're not going out, we're not eating out. Because
True.
that's my thing. When I'm stressed out at work, I'll text my husband and I'm like, "Hey, can we go out? Like, can we take the kids and maybe
Takeaway
go
or
out
something.
and eat?"
Mm-hmm.
Right? But now we can't do that anymore. So we're saving more. We're saving more towards the kids' college fund than what when we did before. And I'm like, okay, then it only takes a pandemic, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
It has definitely changed something.
yeah.
That's true. That's
So
true. Yeah, it definitely has, yeah, the good and the bad. But yeah, I think more
Because
so
we're
with the
all
good.
forced to
If
stay here.
mhm. So
yeah, I think
any,
I like it better. I'm enjoying it
yeah,
more.
I like it. I love it actually. So it's like, if we can make this a little bit longer, yes, please. I'm good
Yes,
with that.
please. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, any parting messages? What do you need to say? What do you need to bring it out there? I will start with
Um,
Kenneth.
Stay safe and follow. Normally, you would follow the government's advice because that's where in all of the evidence-based stuff and stuff, entertaining
Hmm.
fake news. I would always tell that to my family just to be be on the safe side because there are a lot of things going on and there are a lot of people who just want attention. You just have to pick
True.
on the things that you actually want to believe and you want to hear. And the more actually that you listen to these non-credible sources, the more it just makes us think so.
Hmm.
Doesn't help.
True.
Mm-hmm. It's not
That's
gonna
it.
help
But
at
yeah,
all.
again,
Yes.
wash your
Mm-hmm.
hands and stay safe.
Yeah.
Hand
Thank
washing.
you, Nurse. Thank you, Nurse Kenneth from Cambridge, UK. Okay, Miss California.
It's California.
Okay, well, I know, right? All I can say is just count your blessings. Just count your blessings. Just be positive. It's not going to help if you're going to be so negative about everything. Just go with the flow. Stay safe. Stay home. Be productive. That's it.
Yeah, be productive.
Yes. And on that note, maraming salamat. Grabe.
Wagi.
Wagi. Thank you so much for your time.
Welcome.
Maraming salamat sa pakikinig. You can subscribe or download